And so, hello there, and welcome back to another Nice Movies podcast. And in this podcast, I talk all things movies and TV, and whatever I want, whenever I want. And I'm joined by a guest today.
Named Lewis.
And he's been on past podcasts, and he's here today to talk to me about his 3 favourite films of the year, whilst I'm going to talk about my 3 favourite films of the year so far, and the film that disappointed us the most this year, not necessarily the worst one of the year, but the film that disappointed us the most. And we're also going to talk about the films we're most excited for the rest of the year. But before we do that, I should say what I say at the start of every podcast I do, that if you are watching this podcast on YouTube, hello to my viewers, but if you prefer to listen to your podcasts, well, you can with this one at Night of the Movies on Spotify, and if you are already listening on Spotify, hello there to podcast listeners, I'm not going to lean over for that, then you can also watch the podcast visually at my YouTube channel at Night of the Movies on that platform too. Likewise, wherever you may be watching or listening to the podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the podcast, of course, and leave me some feedback on things to improve on in future podcasts, because there's always things to improve on, and feedback is, as ever, much appreciated.
It's very important.
So, let's get into it. Let's get into today's topic. Let's jump straight into it. Right into the deep end on this one.
I'm really excited. I want to get right in there.
We're going to talk about our 3 favourite films of the year so far, our most disappointing film of the year so far, and what we've got to look forward to for the rest of the year. So, just before we get into it, we're over halfway through the year, which is why I'm doing this podcast today, because we've got plenty of films still to come, and you know, we've had some good films this year. We've had some okay films.
We've had some bad ones.
We've had some real stinkers as well.
Yeah, Fast X. So.
Well, that might come. I don't know. By the way, I should say here as well, we generally don't know each other's lists. I mean, he can probably see mine, but we don't know each other's lists. Oh right, well, okay, but don't act surprised if you don't know. But we don't know each other's lists, so I generally don't know if Fast X is in his list of like best films of the year so far, or most disappointing film. You know, I just don't know.
So half the time we've got very similar taste in films, but then the other half of the time we're miles away from each other.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to be quite an interesting podcast. I think we're going to get a diverse range.
It might even get a bit heated.
Yeah, we might start arguing. We might go, how dare you? You know, that might happen.
It could end up being Tyson Fury versus
whoever. I don't follow wrestling.
It's boxing, actually.
Well, that shows you how much I know about everything in boxing.
Lovely bit of comedy.
Anyway, yes. So, our top 3 favourite films of the year from both of us. So, this is how it's going to go. I'm going to say my third, you're going to say your third, okay. I'm going to say my second, you're going to say your second. And hopefully we don't know what each other... Well, we don't know what each other are going to say. We generally don't.
No.
And hopefully it's going to be a surprise for both of us. Because I've got an idea what I think his top 3 is going to be, but I also might be totally wrong. And that's what's exciting about it all. That's what's great, having someone else on the podcast that's not just me for a change. Anyway, let's get into it. So, my third favourite film of the year, we're going to start off with favourite films of the year. Just knocked my Batman Funko Pop off the desk. It's fine.
I'll pick it. Oh, you picked it up? I picked it up.
Oh,
Why not?
Yes. Anyway, sorry about that. Right. Let's get into my third favourite film of the year. It is, of course, the film I was most excited to see at the start of this year, and for me, it worked. It is, of course, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And the thing is, my expectations weren't met with this movie, but that's completely fair at the same time, because my expectations were so high. It was never going to meet all my expectations. But what I really loved about this film was that it was a character study into the Indiana Jones character. It felt true to the Indiana Jones character, and it felt like it was a character study in showing where this character, this adventurous hero that we've all come to know and love, where he would be at this point in his life. This person who never really sticks around with anyone, who never really settles down.
It is weird. I literally had no idea what to expect.
Yeah, exactly, and you know,
you just couldn't imagine what it was going to be like.
Yeah, and it gave me a very different look at Indiana Jones, which I didn't think we would ever get from an Indiana Jones movie, and I think it's far better than people are giving it credit for. I understand it's not for everybody, because it isn't the first 3 Indiana Jones movies, but I think
but it is better. It's definitely better than Kingdom of the Crystal. It's better than the 4th one.
And I think people are going to expect something in the same in the same with the same quality as say Raiders or Last Crusade were setting themselves up for disappointment.
That's like a new Star Wars film coming out back in 2015 and expecting it to be as good as Empire Strikes Back. It's not going to be.
Which some people did expect, and then they were disappointed with The Force Awakens, and I'm like, but you set yourself up for disappointment. It had heart, it was emotional, it was excitement, it was pulsating at times, particularly in the John Williams musical score, which was also quite nostalgic, it borrowed lots of themes.
And it brought back,
and Temple of Doom and Last Crusade, and even a couple of themes from Kingdom of Crystal score. You know, say what about the 4th Indiana Jones movie, it's got a great score in my opinion.
What did it take from the 4th?
It took the Ants theme at one point. It's when the bomb goes towards the start of the film, and there was another piece of music it took off the 4th movie. It was only a small bit.
Well, I didn't notice because it was so little what it took from it.
But it did take a couple of themes off the 4th Indiana Jones movie, which I thought worked. And it delivered on the thrills as well. It had some good action. I mean, not great action. It wasn't Spielberg directing, and I do think you could notice a little bit, but I do think James Mangold did a good job, and I think it gave a good conclusive end to the Indiana Jones character. Probably the best end possible. I think when you really think about it, it's the best Indiana Jones movie we could have got from this 5th installment.
For me, the only way that they could have done better is bringing Short Round back, which you didn't. That was
I mean, there are a couple of missed opportunities, but at the same time, you had Marion and Salah back. And
well, she's not surprising because they literally got married in the last film, but Salah was a nice surprise.
I also loved how they dealt with Mutt, because Mutt wasn't going to be in this movie because Shia LaBeouf said a lot of bad things about Spielberg and some bad things about Harrison Ford as well. And they could have just dealt with his character in some one-off line, like said, oh, he's on another adventure or he's studying abroad. Yeah. But instead, I don't want to give it away in case people haven't seen it, but the way they deal with that character added another layer of emotion to the film, which I really didn't expect. And I added another layer to the Indiana Jones character. So yeah, that was my 3rd favourite film of the year. Lewis, what's your 3rd favourite film of 2023 so far?
I'm going to make the fairly easy decision after thinking about it. I'm definitely going to have to choose the new Flash movie, which I really enjoyed the new Flash. I actually enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to. I was thinking it was going to be. I was expecting it to be one of those typical Marvel films for me in my eyes, where I go in watching it. It's just been it's been hyped way too much. It turns out, sorry, not Marvel, DC. You know what I mean? Superhero film. I thought it was going to be one of those typical superhero movies. I go and watch it. You expect it to be amazing because it's a superhero movie, but in the end it turns out to be a load of CGI trash, something like that. Spike probably knows what film I'm partly referring to. I didn't see it, luckily, but from this year. But I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. But
not.
In the end, maybe not. But no, in the end, I was very impressed with The Flash, and for me, it deserves a strong and commendable 3rd place on my podium.
What would you rate out of 10? Because I usually give 10 out of 10 rates, and I didn't give The Flash high. I didn't really like The Flash, but, you know.
Well, I really liked it, mainly because the fact it brought Michael Keaton back as Batman, and I personally love him as Batman, and there's only, sadly, 2 movies, but very good. 2 is better than 1. At least he came back and did the second one, which is very good. But I'm going to give it, I'm going to say 8 out of 10, which is pretty good.
Can I tell you something about Michael Keaton's Batman? He was meant to appear in the Batgirl movie that's now been completely cancelled. It's not happening.
How come it's not happening?
It just, apparently, it wasn't good enough for Warner Brothers to release, but he was meant to have a role in that film.
I would have I would have enjoyed him in it, no matter what.
You missed another Michael Keaton.
It's a shame. Oh well, I've got him in 3. I've now got 3. I'm gonna have to get The Flash on DVD. Honestly, 3 movies. Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. You got
Christopher Reeve as well. Oh, bit of spoiler. Spoiler. Sorry.
Well, he's not actually in it. It just shows him as CGI in one.
And there was a
scene,
little reference to Adam West as Batman.
That's pretty cool.
There was a reference to Nicolas Cage Superman, which didn't happen. It was meant to be a Superman movie directed by Tim Burton, but it didn't happen.
Well,
there was a reference to it, though.
I think the reason why The Flash is in 3rd for me, it had a bit of everything. It makes me laugh in a few scenes, and a superhero movie making me laugh is not easy to do.
I will say that this film disappointed me, but it did make me laugh too.
It actually had some good humour, probably partly because it's a DC film. In my opinion, DC is better than Marvel. But that's me.
Yeah.
Fire as many shots as you want, they're not going to come through. For me, it made me laugh. It was long, but I don't mind long movies as long as they keep me gripped and I don't lose track, which I didn't in that film, thank God. Because if I did, it would have been disappointing. I liked it pretty much all the way through. Michael Keaton, he doesn't come into it until maybe around halfway or just after, but he's got a lot of time in the film, which I'm happy about. I think he comes in like halfway. I liked the action sequences with Michael Keaton. You know, it was realistic because he's at that age. But he's still Batman at the end of the day. I liked his gadgets. I liked how he used a few new gadgets that you don't see in the originals of him.
Yeah, the updated a bit. So
yeah, he had that bulletproof cape, which I liked.
So The Flash was Lewis's third favourite film of 2023 so far. So my number 2, my second favourite film of 2023 as of July this year is Rye Lane, which I don't think Lewis knows a thing about.
Never heard of it.
I don't think many people know about it. It's currently on Disney Plus, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone who has Disney Plus and has the chance to check it out. It's only like 90 minutes. I think maybe less than 90 minutes actually. Yeah, if you read it off the thing. No. Yeah, it's as I write down here, it's a beautiful, funny, and excellently well crafted rom-com set in South London, following two young adults who are at a crossroads in their lives, with some really touching twists, and it manages to change style from scene to scene, which I really like.
How do they meet?
But it never feels messy or incoherent. I'll tell you in a sec. And it's also really funny. There's one really funny joke about Love Actually in the movie, which I'm not going to spoil.
Is that meant to be like the best rom-com ever?
Love Actually.
Yeah, I was one.
Well, I think it. I don't know if it's the best rom-com ever, but at the same time,
it's one of the best English.
I think
ones.
it's the one like everybody turns to when they want like a feel-good rom-com.
No.
It's the one that everybody comes to and goes, "Oh, Love Actually." That's
the thing that I like about it, it's actually funny. It's not just like cringy love making them.
Oh yeah, I know what I mean. I'm a big fan of
actually
Love Actually too. Even so, it's got its problems. I watch it every Christmas, but Rye Lane, I think. It makes a joke about Love Actually, even as one of the stars of Love Actually in a little cameo in the film. I don't know whether I should say. Should I say or should I might tell you after. You know what? No, I'm going to say.
What, because of spoilers?
Well, yeah, and also ruin surprise and the novelty element of it all. But it's Colin Firth. He makes a cameo as somebody who works in a what do you call them? He works in this really bad restaurant. What do you call them? When people get drunk and they get kebabs. He works in a kebab shop, and he's all scruffy, which is not what you expect from Colin Firth. He's only in about 10 seconds of the movie, but it is him. Anyway, yeah, he's really funny in it. But I love the way it was shot. I love the feel I had watching it, and it's under 90 minutes. It's got that sweet one time, which I know a lot of people love. You know, you're in and you're out. Some great needle drops as well. Absolutely adore the movie and highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out already. Lewis, what's your second favourite film of 2023 so far?
Before I tell you my second film, do you mind just telling me how they actually met in the film?
I forgot to say, they met at an art gallery. It's a mutual friend's art gallery, if I remember correctly. A mutual friend having a arts opening or something like that, and they meet there, and they at first don't get along as you might expect, but there's a good chemistry between the main two leads, who I've got the names off the top of my head right now, but there's a great chemistry between the main two leads, which makes me believe in their romance, and it's just a complete joy from start to finish. Now, Lewis, what is your second favourite film of 2023?
I'm going to be honest, this might surprise a few people, but it definitely does not surprise me. I was looking forward to this film for a while, a bit like with the Indiana Jones movie. I was looking forward to that for a long time that I saw this year, and simply due to the games that I played in the past. Simply due to the games that I've played in my life on the DS. Hint, hint. Due to that, due to how fun the movie is, how action packed it is, it's fast paced. I like everything about it. I thought the voice actors were bang on.
If you hadn't guessed it
already,
it's
going to have to be Super Mario movie.
Hey.
A fairly easy one for me.
This isn't in my top 3, although I loved it. I'm a big fan of Mario. We literally just played Mario Kart before we recorded this podcast.
Yeah, got a bit heated.
Not with me, with him. Okay, but we're not going to go into that. But anyway, yeah, I love the movie. I love the music as well by Brian Tyler. I've listened to it a lot.
It was very good.
It incorporates a lot of classic Mario themes. It was pretty much perfect
It's
for
what
a
you'd
Mario
expect.
movie.
It's what you know. It really made you feel like you were watching a Mario movie.
Yeah, I mean, the story wasn't great, but you don't play a Mario game for the story.
No, you play it for
the characters and the thrill and everything. So that's what you get from the movie, in my opinion. It's also funny. I really enjoyed the characters of Toad, and I really enjoyed all the characters. The only character I didn't particularly like on the rewatch, because I saw it twice. I saw you at the big view in Manchester. The only character I didn't really like was that old Donkey Kong. The Grumpy Kong.
He was a bit weird.
I didn't really like him. I haven't played newer Mario games.
I adored the scene when they all get in the cart and drive.
Oh right, yeah, that was really great scene in an IMAX screen, because that's what we did.
Yeah, it definitely helps seeing it. And for me, I mean, a lot of time I don't really care about IMAX. I'm happy just to watch a film in normal. But Mario, I'd pay the extra to watch it in IMAX.
But it was also a huge screen, wasn't it? It wasn't like it was just any IMAX
screen.
It's probably the size of most people's houses. Like,
bigger than that, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a huge screen. I saw Dial of Destiny in it the first time I watched it. It was the first showing in the entirety of Manchester, I think. I might be wrong there. And I saw Dial of Destiny in that screen, and I saw Super Mario. Seeing Mario on that screen was it was a lot better than watching the first time. I didn't like it as much as I did the first time, but yeah, I still love the movie. It's just not in my top 3. You know, it's only the top 3.
You watched it with me your second time, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I had to tell you, just don't give me this.
So the Super Mario Bros. Movie is Lewis's second favourite film of 2023 so far. Now, my number 1 on this list, and I reviewed it only a couple of days ago, so this won't be a big surprise to many people because of how much I raved about it in my review. It is, of course, Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. This film, for me, was harrowing, spectacular, deceiving. It's not the blockbuster you expect it to be. It's bold, it's enthralling from start to finish, and I loved this movie.
And you literally just watched it a few days ago as well.
I can't wait to rewatch it. In fact, by the time this podcast comes out, because I'm recording it a couple of days before I'll actually go up on YouTube, I might be rewatching it, and if I am, I can't wait.
I thought it was swell.
He knows this. It really annoys me when he uses the word swell. It makes me think like I'm in an 80s coming of age film. That's swell, boy. I don't know.
Well, actually, Clark Kent uses the word swell in the first Superman movie.
I haven't seen it in the first Superman movie.
You should give it a watch.
Oh, sorry, I apologise. I genuinely will, because there's a new Superman film, completely new, coming out in 2025.
Yeah. Who's playing Superman?
Someone relatively unknown.
It's got to be someone tall.
No, he looks like him.
It's got to be someone big.
Yeah, he looks like him, and a completely new Superman coming out in 2025. No relation to any previous Superman whatsoever.
So it's basically like the original, but new.
Yeah, and it's been directed by the same guy, the Guardians of the Galaxy. So,
I love the original Superman movie.
But anyway, I'm really excited for that. But that's going off the point. I loved Oppenheimer. Amazing cast, amazing performances, an amazing film. Check it out if you haven't already. Remind me of one of my favourite films that I've seen in the past couple of years, which is Oliver Stone's JFK. The way the film unravels, it's got a non-linear narrative, it's constantly compelling, and I absolutely adored it from start to finish.
It's 3 hours, make sure you got the loo before.
3 hours, but I know what you mean. And I did feel the length, but I wouldn't cut a second out of this film. But anyway, Lewis, what's your favourite film of 2023 so far?
I'm going to have to say Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Whoa, didn't see that one.
He didn't know about that.
I generally didn't, but I had a good guess.
Yeah.
I did.
Who's that? I love Indiana Jones.
I must admit, just before he carries on, I thought his top 3, and bear in mind this is only top 3, this isn't top 5, but I thought his top 3 was going to be Fableman's, Super Mario Brothers, and then Indiana Jones.
I was considering picking the Fablemans. I did really enjoy the Fablemans because I do like Steven Spielberg, but there was just a few bits in the film where I just felt uninterested. I just felt like, can we just move on? I'm not really bothered about that. You know, just
I know what you mean. I don't agree.
There was just a few bits where I was like,
because I just went away again last week and I bought it on DVD to watch it there. And when I was rewatching it, although I still love the movie,
it's a great film. I like it.
I know what he means in certain moments. Although I do think it's one of Spielberg's best in the past however many years. But anyway, go back on to Indiana Jones. Let me know your thoughts on the film. Fire away.
The thing that I love about the fifth Indiana Jones movie, I love the characters for a start. I really like Helena. I think she's a pretty good. I mean, I know she's not a love interest of Indy. I mean, she's literally his goddaughter, and she's like a third of his age, but nearly. But I think she's a very good. Well, she's not a Bond girl. What would you call the girls in Indiana?
Well, they kind of are Bond girls.
Well, they are.
Oh god, a voice pack. No, because one of the big influences for the Indiana Jones franchise.
Right, can I just say?
Okay.
The girls in Indiana Jones, let's just call them Jones girls. That's what they are.
Well, you know, yeah, because one of the big influences for the Indiana Jones franchise, as I was just saying, was the Bond franchise. Spielberg wanted to start the Bond movie twice, but he got refused.
I think Helena is a very good Jones girl. I mean, as for the fourth one, the only Jones girl is Marion, but I mean, she's barely in it.
And she's already been a Jones
okay,
girl.
so the fourth one didn't even have one. So this made up for that.
I mean, you got the villain, but she's not really.
She's not
really a companion, exactly.
She's a villain, so like you said, she's like the female Donovan.
Just play carry on.
Quite literally.
You said that. I'm guessing you don't know the online discourse for the film.
What do you mean?
The online reaction to this movie that much.
Not really.
A lot of people really hate her character.
What, Helena?
And I don't get why.
Oh yeah, it's like Rose in Star Wars. It's literally exactly the same as Rose in Star Wars. I'm sorry, but if anyone watching this does not like Helena, I know that she
but that be nice, because respectful, because they might just not like the character, and that's fair enough. But if they just hate it because it's a woman, even I'll say
there's nothing wrong with that. No, I wasn't going to say anything bad. What I was going to say was, I do know what you mean. You know, she does. I do somewhat understand deep down. You know, she comes across. You know, she's egotistical. She's very. She comes a bit cocky. How do I word this? She's very masculine, even though she's a.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
She's very masculine.
I like that.
She acts like a man,
but I know what
even though she's a young lady.
Similar to Ray.
She's very. Yeah.
To a degree.
Similar to Ray, she's very. She's very. She's very on it. She's very like in command, even though.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
For a young woman, I don't mean this in a sexist way. In an Indiana Jones film, she's very in command, and some people might not like that, but you know, she's a very good character. I thought she was quite. I quite like the way that she spoke. I just liked watching her. I thought she was good.
I really enjoy that character. I understand it's not for everybody. If you just like the character, that's fine. But
if I wasn't an Indiana Jones fan, I probably wouldn't have anything good to say about her. But I like Indiana Jones, and I thought she really.
I thought
did well
she fit in with
the
the movie as well.
I thought she did.
Yeah, I mean, I know people, but there's some people who just dislike her because she's a woman. And she's a woman who's done well in the industry.
I mean, you can't do anything about that. That's just life. You're going to get women in films.
I know, it's like, we came out of somebody, you know.
It's life.
Exactly. And if you just disliked it because you're a woman and you're watching this right now, can't stress is enough. Fuck off. Anyway, carry on.
I didn't expect that. You were telling me to.
Because I don't like all these people that go, well, this and well, that. Anyway, carry on.
Oh, we can always edit that out if needs be.
No, we're not editing it out. I'm being serious.
I know, but we have the option to.
Okay, yeah.
But what I was saying was
back onto Indiana Jones. Yeah, tangent about that.
I like what has happened.
But go back onto why you loved Dial of Destiny.
I'm trying to. Right, I really like Indy himself in that film. I thought the film actually made his age realistic. You know, he can still fight, but not. It's not like when he was young. You know, he still pulls a few moves here and there, which I like.
He actually, Harrison Ford actually injured himself preparing for the film.
Well, there you go.
Which makes me laugh a bit. He was only practicing punches and he pulled his arm.
Well, he is 80. I know. Surprising. He's at that age.
I know, but it still makes me laugh because he's so he played in Indiana Jones at this age.
It just goes to show you he's left it so late to do another Indiana Jones movie, but it's good. It's nice that he's done that. It just shows you that he cares about it. I love the music in the film. I love the music that they brought back, especially right at the start. X marks the spot theme with the Nazis. Spoiler alert if you haven't already seen it.
Not a huge part. It wasn't the trailer.
Not really. I love the action scenes themselves. I love the all the action scenes, the train at the start, the Nazi train, that is amazing. I love the scene when they're on like those like tuk-tuks, that's what they're called.
Oh yeah.
That's what they're called.
The eels.
For what, sorry?
The eels when they went under the water.
Oh yeah, but I think that was around when I went to the loo, so
right.
I need to watch that again.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
What do you think of the de-aging?
I actually really liked the de-aging. I didn't have any problems with it.
I thought it was slightly distracting. Looked a bit Polar Express. Looked a bit Polar Express. Looked a bit like it's out of a video game. But the more I think about it, the more it doesn't bother me.
It's just one of those things. If you'd never played any video games, or if you hadn't watched Polar Express, it wouldn't have bothered you.
Well, yeah, maybe
you're comparing it.
And I did hear the director say he wanted to, at the start of the movie, make a homage to the first three Indiana Jones films with that opening. And I understand the intention. I just don't know if it totally.
Something else. I love the bad guys in the movie. I thought the bad guys were miles better than the ones in the fourth one. Oh my god!
Although I thought the big guy was slightly wasted.
Oh yeah, that's not his fault though. No. The big guy was wasted. Well, his death was rubbish. Other than his oops.
Spoiler. But anyway, you'd guess he's going to die anyway. He's meant to be one of the main villains. You guess he's going to die or meet an ugly fate or something like that. And
I know, he does. His ugly fate. The other guy, the smaller guy. His ugly fate was actually a good one. In the plane.
Yeah.
That was a good death. But the other guys are just like that could happen to anyone.
Yeah. So you love the film, then, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Lewis's favourite film of 2023. So my
Spike
top
is
three...
so shocked that it's my favourite.
Yeah. My top three were Oppenheimer, Rye Lane and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Your top three were... And he's laughing. I'm gonna try and do it now because he's laughing.
No, I can do it. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Destiny. Super Mario movie and The Flash.
Right,
Classic.
So... just before I go on to our most disappointing from the year, I do also want to mention that we've had some pretty good, some honourable mentions.
Should we both give our honourable mentions?
So, okay, let's give let's say 3 honourable mentions.
Should we do it so like 4th, 5th, and 6th?
No, these are not necessarily 4th, 5th, and 6th. Just
mine's Mission Impossible. I really enjoyed that. That was close. If I hadn't seen a Flash this year, Mission Impossible might have been 3rd.
Okay. Oh, you want me to?
Shall I do 3 and then you do 3? Right.
We definitely planned before doing this podcast.
Right. Sometimes it's alright not to plan.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to be spontaneous.
Exactly, just let it flow.
Okay.
Mission Impossible, The Fabelmans, the one that's in Spike's top 3, did really like that.
Wasn't in my top 3. We just did the talk. We just randomly talked about it anyway.
I thought it was.
No, my top 3 was I forgot about it.
Oh yeah,
Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, Rye Lane.
Don't matter. I just thought, Fabelmans, Mission Impossible, and I actually think the Dungeons and Dragons film is pretty good. I actually really enjoyed that.
So some honourable mentions I want to give. Because he's already said it, I'm not going to say Mission Impossible and Fabelmans, but I did really enjoy those films nonetheless. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I thought was
I didn't watch that.
Much better than it's the animated one.
I'm just saying I didn't watch it. It might have been
still a Michael J. Fox film showing about his condition and how he lives, but it's also really entertaining and really funny. If These Walls Could Sing, all about Abbey Road and the people who recorded in there. And if I was to give one other recommendation of this year, one other film that surprisingly works for me, which I didn't think it would, it'll be Cocaine Bear. I think it's.
I was just going to mention.
I think it's great for what it is. I know it's not a brilliant film.
It sounds absolutely terrifying.
It's not brilliant for what. It's not a brilliant film.
It sounds pretty brilliant,
but it's good for what it is. I think for a movie about Cocaine Bear, it's about as good as a movie you're gonna get. Although it should have had a bit more of the bear, but I still liked it and had a great time watching it.
How long is it?
I think it's around the sweet spot, about 90 minutes. That's sweet spot. Anyway, most disappointing film of the year. So, just before I get into this, I do want to give a little preface. It's been a good year film so far, and I don't like talking about movies negatively that much anymore because it is so difficult to make anything. There's about 1 million, probably even more, of people working on a movie. It takes forever to make a film happen and to do everything. So you know, even so, I am going to talk about a film negatively in a sec. I do want to say that I admire everyone's work that goes into movies, because especially now after COVID, it's even more difficult.
How come it's more? All the social distancing.
Yeah, and they've got to test people. And
what means it's all stopped, hasn't it just gone back to normal?
Well, it did for a bit, and now there's a writer's strike going on, and now there's an actor's strike going on. So no one
literally
is really
everyone is on strike.
All over the world, it seems. Anyway,
all started off with the train drivers, and look where we are.
Yeah, the train drivers in the UK, and the actors went, well, they're on strike. Let's go. that wasn't what happened.
Even
by the way.
doctors are on strike.
But yeah, even so, I'm about to talk about a film I didn't like. I'm still happy. I'm still happy films are coming out. That's what I'm saying, and I know how difficult it is to make a movie. So, I just wanted to say that, and I wanted to say that I respect each movie I saw, because they managed to come out after COVID, and imagine how difficult it is to make anything during COVID. So yeah, I just wanted to say that before going to my most
disappointed
the movie I was most disappointed with this year. It's only going to be one film, and I've said one here, but I'm actually going to change my mind. The movie I was most disappointed with this year, and it was one of his top 3, was The Flash. The reason I say this was my most disappointed, it's not my least favourite film of the year by any stretch of the imagination. I was very excited to see it, though. I heard all these amazing things about it. Loads of people raving about the film, saying it's one of the best comic movies ever made, from to James Gunn.
It's funny. I genuinely thought it was. It just goes to show you how different our taste
exactly.
And
I went into the movie, really wanted to see it, and really excited about it. Wanted to get this really fantastic emotional journey with it. Wanted to see Michael Keaton back. Wanted to see all the cameos, because I've been teasing them. Supergirl looked great in the trailers. It felt like a lot of wasted potential. And the third act was really unengaged with that whole battle sequence. And I don't think any live-action superhero movie, whether any of the Marvel ones or in the case of DC, The Flash, have ever got multiverse quite right. I think this is much better than Quantumania. And the reason I didn't say Ant-Man was Quantumania is because, yes, I hate that movie, but I wasn't excited to see it. You know what I mean? I was disappointed by it, but simply because
I just hate Marvel at this point.
But simply because I was disappointed in me because it just really annoyed me more than anything. And I hated The Whale, and I hated Fast Sex.
The Whale, that wasn't actually a movie, was it? Wasn't it
no, it was
The Whale.
Yeah.
With the guy from The Mummy?
Yeah.
I thought that was like a series or something.
No, it was a movie.
Episodes.
But it was all about...
Movie.
Yeah.
I could have sworn
it was only about 90 minutes long.
I could have sworn it was like episodes or something.
No.
Why did you hate it? That was meant to be really good.
It felt like the director was having fun making this movie about someone who was very obese, and it was not. It was, you watch a movie and it's not. You don't have a nice feeling watching it. That's how I had with The Whale. I've already spoken about it on this channel already. I just really
I know
hated The Whale.
The director was just trying to make something that people were going to be entertained by.
Yeah, that's the problem. It shouldn't be an entertaining movie, and yet
was it successful?
It feels. Well, it was successful to a degree because he won an Oscar. He won an Academy Award for the film. And I did think he was good in it, but at the same time, though, it felt like he was just him in a fat suit. And
what was it? Well, he is.
Well, it is, but
does it actually look like that?
I thought Colin Farrell was far better in Banshees, and I thought that Austin Butler was far better in Elvis last year.
Do you mind just briefly telling me the actual plot of The Whale?
I can't even remember.
Hasn't he got like a daughter or something?
Yeah, I really tried to remove it from my mind, and now you're questioning me about it. One sec. It's going to take a moment. It says, by the way, that it came out in 2022. It came out in this country, in the UK, this year. In a town in Idaho, I think that's what it is.
Is he Charlie, English teacher?
A reclusive and unhealthy English teacher. He still is an English teacher, but he does most of his stuff online and through Zoom, so people can't always see him. Hides out in his flat and eats his way to death. He is desperate to reconnect with his teenage daughter for a last chance at redemption. I really hated it. I just really, really hated it. If you want to hear why, by the way, we're 35 minutes, didn't realise. If you want to hear why, I've said that about 3 times now. If you want to hear why, watch my review on it on this channel. But for me, the most disappointed I felt with the movie this year was The Flash, because I really wanted to get a really emotional journey out of it, and I didn't. I swear you just liked the movie because of Michael Keaton's Batman came out.
No, it's not just him. Even if he didn't come in it, I would have still liked it. I thought the alternate Flash was absolutely hilarious.
There was, listen,
he was.
I didn't hate the movie though. I just really,
this is one scene.
disappointed by it.
There's this one little scene. It's just literally a little scene, but it just makes me laugh. I just love it. I love it when I love it when the two Flashes are in the alternate Flash's bedroom. And I love it when I love it when the real Flash goes into like slow mo. He's like, I wonder. I love how he says to himself in his head, I wonder how hard you have to hit someone to knock them out. I love how it just turns to the other guy's face, and because he's in the middle of talking, he's just like. That's right.
I enjoy all the Back to the Future jokes because he keeps saying in the alternative reality that Eric Stoltz is Marty McFly. And I
didn't get that, but
and if you know the context, basically. Back to the Future was originally being shot with Eric Stoltz, but then Spielberg and the director of Back to the Future, Robert Zemeckis, realised that they needed, Michael J. Fox to do the movie. But at the same time, when Michael J. Fox was doing Family Ties, the sitcom at the time, I don't know why he's laughing. So they had to make this arrangement to get Michael J. Fox to do the movie. But it was quite a funny joke to with Eric Stoltz. I like parts of the movie. I don't think it's awful overall, but it was just the most disappointed I felt of a movie thus far this year. What's your... I should say, by the way, the film I put down for my most disappointed was Evil Dead Rise. I was really disappointed in that movie, but I was far more disappointed in The Flash. I was really disappointed in Evil Dead Rise because I loved the first three Evil Dead films.
Is that zombies?
They're campy.
Zombies?
No, it's like nature kind of fights back. Anyway, the
like
first
tornadoes?
Three... No. If anyone's seen Evil Dead, you... Oh my god, just let the comments sink. It's not an end of the world movie. Anyway, the first Evil Dead films are campy, got Bruce Campbell going groovy, it's great. But then I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, I've just gone hype all of a sudden. You got Bruce Campbell going groovy. Put that card down. It's great. The first three Evil Dead films. And then you get to Evil Dead Rise, and it's just like full on gore. Everyone's been cut in half, eyes are popping out of each other's bodies, and there's some people who have been sawed in half. There's a big nod to the Thing, and it's like, what is this? Way too gory, way too much horror, and for me, it didn't work. However, one thing I will say is I had a really funny cinema experience. I went to see it by myself, and I was sat near some people at one point, and it says in the first 10 minutes of the movie, Evil Dead Rise, so you know it's going to be an Evil Dead film, and somebody who was near me turned to his friend halfway through the film and went, "This is an Evil Dead movie." And then later on in the film, after all these really gory sequences had happened, and it'd been quite horrifying, I heard somebody in the back of the cinema go, "Is this a horror movie?" And then her partner went, "Yeah, I think it is." I'm really a big fan of horror films. I'm thinking, you just watch somebody, I think, get their head cut off. Like, what? What are you doing? Anyway, it was a great cinema experience. I just didn't like the movie, but it was it was the movie I was most disappointed with. It was The Flash I was most disappointed with.
It sounds like you had quite a weird screening that day.
Yeah, it was The Flash I was most disappointed with this year so far, though. What is a movie you were most disappointed with this year so far? What's he going to say?
Right. Well, you're not going to be over the moon to actually hear me say this, but I was actually... Okay, when it comes to Oppenheimer, I actually
knew he was going to say it.
Right.
I did actually... Well, I didn't know, but I had a good
feeling.
I had a feeling.
I thought, okay, bottom line, I thought Oppenheimer was a good film. I did like it, but the problem with me and Oppenheimer was... For me, it was too intellectual. I didn't have a clue what anyone was on about half the time. I couldn't keep up. I'm being brutally honest here. I just didn't understand it.
Well, you're not alone.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I just didn't get it.
I know what you mean. It's a complex movie.
I didn't get it. So
and to be fair, it didn't change the fact that we had to change seats. About 20 minutes.
Yeah, the seats didn't help
because we were sat right at the front on the front
literally
row,
for the first half an hour.
For the first half an hour.
We didn't move right away.
Our necks were hurting, and it looked like it was like a tennis match with the eye.
Basically.
And so we had to move, and we moved to some pretty good seats.
There's nothing wrong with the seats.
But by that point, it was a bit like catch up.
Okay, I did love some of the scenes. I loved these scenes.
Don't spoil anything because it's only just come out.
I liked the.
You can say generally what happened, but don't spoil.
Everyone
anything.
knows this is going to. I liked it when they tested the bomb.
Whoa, spoiler. Yeah, I mean, if you didn't know that was going to happen, I don't know what film you're thinking this is going to be.
Okay, I thought that was really tense. I actually really liked that.
Yeah.
One thing though, I mean, I'm not a scientist, don't get me wrong.
Neither am I.
I didn't get it. You know when it first went off?
Yeah.
This isn't really a spoiler. I didn't really get how there wasn't actually any sound. You didn't hear the boom right away.
I think that was the point.
The
point was you just meant no. You would hear it in real life.
Well, yeah.
But I think the point was it was to add effect into
Alright, well,
the
I didn't
movie.
like that. I would have rather just done it realistic, but...
I thought it was genius. Anyway, but that's his most disappointing film of the year. But it's not your worst film of the year. What do you do? It's not your worst film of the year.
No, it's definitely
what is your worst film of the year? I genuinely want to know.
Do you really want to know? Fast X.
Well, yeah,
probably that.
We both haven't seen any of the... Pardon me. We both haven't seen any of the other Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, no. Well, Fast X, I just hated it.
Yeah, I did watch a bit of Fast and Furious 8 when it was
me.
on TV a couple of days after seeing Fast X. Didn't particularly like that movie either. But yeah. Anyway, those are most disappointing films of 2023. I think.
Did you see John Wick 4? I haven't watched that.
I'm not familiar with the John Wick franchise.
I wasn't in the mood after watching the third one with the enemy.
But don't go into that. I know what we're going to do with me.
I know what I'm just saying.
With the enemy.
I know, well, I just didn't want to say any names, just the enemy. That's all I need to know.
Brilliant. But no, we didn't see John Wick 4. There have been movies which I haven't seen this year. I didn't get to see everything. But those are our most disappointing movies that we've seen in 2023 so far. Anyway, let's talk about films that we're excited to watch. Assuming these come out, by the way, because there's a bit up in the air.
The Exorcist is coming
out.
Oops.
Jump into conclusions a bit. Let me speak. Speedy Gonzalez over here. Right, well, assuming these films come out, because there is an actor strike and a writer strike coming on, and there's been some reports that Warner Brothers is considering delaying the likes of, and you already knew these were coming out, Aquaman 2 and Wonka. Don't read these.
I'm not gonna say it. It's just so distracting.
I saw your face go. Like, you got more quizzical. Anyway, yeah, I have heard some reports that Warner Bros. Is considering delaying some movies, so that there is a bit up in the air where these films will actually come out. But as of now, as I'm recording this podcast, those films haven't been delayed yet to 2024. So, assuming these films come out this year, that's what you've got to bear in mind. Assuming all these films come out this year. So come out in August is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mayhem.
Oh yeah, we've seen
and
the
that's
trailer
coming
for
out
that.
actually at the end of this month, at the end of July. So yeah, I'm gonna watch that. Listen, I've got high hopes for it. I'm genuinely looking forward to it. I think it'll be quite good. Maybe like a Spider-Verse version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Meg 2, The Trench. We did see the trailer for that.
It's not my sort of film. I won't be watching
it. Looks like it could be a laugh. It's from a good director, and it looks like it's very tongue-in-cheek. There's a moment in the trailer, which I will admit did make me laugh.
I don't know why, but to me it just looks like a Baywatch film out at sea with a shark.
And Jason Statham. But there's a moment in the trailer where there's this girl going, "Oh, this glass is Meg-proof," and the Meg just comes through it. Oh, sorry.
It's alright. It's only got a cushion.
Well, there's a moment in the trailer where there's a girl going, "Oh, the glass is Meg-proof," and the Meg just comes through it. I'm like, that actually looks like it could be a bit of fun. It looks like it's pretty awful, but
it's basically a shark comedy, but the shark is huge.
Yeah, and there's more of them, and there's also a giant octopus. It seems like. Anyway, Gran Turismo. That's one with the car.
I actually like. I've got high hopes for him. I won't mind watching Gran Turismo.
Got Orlando Bloom and David Harbour. David Harbour, Hopper from Strange Things.
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion, which is based on the Disneyland ride. Never ridden that ride. I don't think that's a word, but never rode.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
That ride at Disneyland, but the movie looks like it'd be fun. Got a great cast with the likes of Danny DeVito, Winona Ryder, Owen Wilson, Aaron Dawson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Lakeith Stanfield. Could go on and on and on.
So it's like a travel fair.
Sure. And Blue Beetle, the new DC movie, which doesn't seem to have many connections to DC as far as we can see in the trailers. Although it looks like it'll be a bit of fun. Looks like it, borrowing a bit off the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies and some John Hughes coming-of-age films. Although, I do think it could be a bit of fun. Are you looking forward to Blue Beetle?
Didn't know it was coming out, but yeah, I am now. Yeah.
I love 10 new things sometimes because you look at me like I have like 7 heads. Anyway, September, coming out in September, Expendables 4. Yes! I don't care about
I've not watched
Expendables.
them.
Well, they're directed by Sylvester
missing much.
Stallone. Not really. The first one was pretty relentless. I mean, it had the likes of Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in a bit of the first one. I know he's in the second one more. Bruce Willis was in a bit of it. It's not good, a bad cast, but I watched the first one. That's all I've seen the Expendables franchise. And I understand the appeal, but it wasn't for me. They all have to do something which is sort of impossible, but they're all like hard, masculine men.
I feel like working for like who are they working for?
They work for like no, you don't really know who they're working for really. Anyway,
there's a pig in the park.
The trailer for this didn't look awful. I will say that it looked watchable, although I probably won't watch it. The Creator, which is this new sci-fi film from the director of Rogue One with John David Washington, and it looks like it could be really good. It looks like quite an interesting sci-fi movie. I'm reading too far ahead there. Equalizer 3, haven't seen any of the other Equalizer movies yet, although this one looked very good. I will rewatch the other two. I will watch the other two for the first time before.
I just want to briefly say, December sounds like a perfect month.
Well, assuming those films come out, but anyway, we'll get on to that in a sec. Challengers, which is this tennis film where Zendaya is married to one tennis player, it seems like, but there's another tennis player that could have had a thing with her, and it looks quite interesting. It looks like it'll be quite a good movie. A Haunting in Venice, which is the third in the Kenneth Branagh Pro movies, and I haven't really liked any of his Pro films. I didn't like Death on the Nile, I spoke about this on his channel, and I didn't also like Murder on the Orient Express. However, this film looks like it could be good.
I wonder if Elsa comes back to work in the library.
If you didn't get that, you meet Elsa in Venice in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Listen, it looks like it could be good. It looks like it could be good. I don't have high hopes for it because I didn't like the previous two Kenneth Branagh Pro films, but this one at least looks good. In October, The Exorcist Believer is coming out. So it's a new Exorcist film which seems like a bit of a reboot and a remake.
I've only seen the one original.
Yeah, and it's got
That's all I've seen.
what's her name? I forgot the name of the top. Ellen Bernstein, who's in the original.
Did she play the young girl?
No, she didn't play the young girl. She was in the original. I haven't seen the original for a long time. I will rewatch it. It's coming from the same guy that directed the Halloween reboots. However, I haven't seen those movies. I've only seen the first couple of Halloween films. But the trailer looked good. I just don't have that much high hopes for it. I'm not sure why they're making this movie. And listen, if it turns out it's great, it's another great movie. But it's coming out around Halloween as well, which is a perfect time for a film like this. But I can't lie and say I'm excited for this film.
They do that on purpose, don't they?
Yeah. Craven the Hunter, which they're new from the Sony Spider-Verse, which we've had Morbius and the Venom films. Morbius was atrocious. The Venom films I haven't liked, but I see the appeal of them. I know you enjoyed the first Venom film, didn't you? Or the Venom 2.
I
watched
the first one. The first Venom film is a film that I would genuinely sit down and watch again. The second one, not so much.
It was just like, someone was just going on. I didn't really get any of it. But this is a new film of that universe. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, who played Kick-Ass, he's going to be playing Craven. And
Classic film.
Russell Crowe is playing his dad, and they seem to hate each other. It looks good, but I've been burned so many times by the Sony Spider-Verse that I don't know if I'm going to be bothered to watch it. The only thing that is compelling about it is that it is going to be rated 15, which means it's going to have gore, it's going to have violence, and Aaron Taylor-Johnson is a force of nature. He was also in Bullet Train. He was one of the twins in Bullet Train. Yeah, it looks like it could be good, but I don't have much high hopes for it. Also in October is Killers of the Flower Moon, which is a new Martin Scorsese film with Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. Looks right up my alley, a Western gangster. Can't wait to see it. Had a budget of something like 300 million. And it's about 3 hours.
I've got a pun. At least it's right up your alley, not Downton your Abbey.
Haha, there's no reference to Downton Abbey whatsoever in what I'm about to talk about. And the Five Nights at Freddy's film comes out in October. Never played the game, have you? Five Nights at Freddy's? No. Like, because Oliver...
I'm not a serious gamer.
Other friend has played it.
Not like Oliver Taylor.
So it might be interesting watching that with Oliver Taylor, because, you know, we just said his full name. It might be interesting watching this with Oliver because he's played the game, but, you know... I don't have much.
He's played every game.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this, but you know, it could be good. Any of these movies could be good. We just don't know yet. But coming out in November is the Marvels. I don't have any excitement for it just simply because I'm not a Marvel fan. I'm all for a female-led blockbuster movie from a female director, but it's just I'm not a Marvel fan anymore. I would have said it gave up with Guardians of the Galaxy.
I've never really been a Marvel fan, to be honest. So.
No, but you'd enjoy some of them. Like you told me you enjoyed Infinity War.
Yeah, not anymore though. The films that I enjoy were from like years ago now, so it's just, that's gone.
But I know people will be excited for the Marvels, and assuming it still comes out in November, that's one to perhaps put on people's lists. The Killer, which is the new David Fincher film with Michael Fassbender and Tilda Swinton. David Fincher, if you don't know, that's the likes of Fight Club, Seven, Zodiac, The Social Network, which is my favourite of his.
Who's Fearing the Man Who Lived.
Oh yeah, he directed that as well. Although that's never been a film. Anyway, The Killer, we haven't really seen anything of this yet. It's going to be a Netflix movie, so we won't see anything of it probably until at the earliest, late September. But I'm looking forward to it simply because it's a David Fincher film with Michael Fassbender. Those two things sound like they're going to work great together. There's a new Hunger Games film coming out in the Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songs and Snakes. Don't know what sort of name that is. I've only seen.
It's a bit long.
Yeah, exactly. I've only seen one Hunger Games film in the past. I don't know if this movie's tied to the previous Hunger Games film with Jennifer Lawrence and Woody Harrelson and one of the Hemsworth brothers. I don't know if it's tied to those movies. If it is, doesn't really matter anyway because I've only seen the first of them. And they didn't really seem like my sort of movies. But the trailer, this looked good. You got Peter Dinklage as a villain, all for that. Next Go Wind, which seems like a Taika Waititi coming back to his roots. It also feels like Ted Lasso meets New Zealand rugby. It looks like it'd be quite good. And it's got an interesting cast. I'm looking forward to that. Disney's Wish. It's just called Wish. I saw the trailer for it when I went to watch Barbie. Could be delightful.
I think I've seen it. I mean, I've seen the trailer. Is it that one?
You've seen it already. Disney showed you. Only you. And
Could happen.
It might. I don't know. If you where would you seen the trailer for?
No, I'm in the cinema. I think I've seen.
And when were we seeing the trailer for? When was it?
What was that animated film that we've been seeing the trailer for recently?
Was it Elemental?
I think.
Right. No, Elemental was pretty good, by the way. I enjoyed that. No, this is a different one. Which this is from Pixar. Napoleon, which is from Ridley Scott. Joaquin Phoenix is in it. It is a historical epic.
That's an insult, isn't it? Napoleon, isn't it? It's what the warden used to call Captain Mainwaring back in the day in Dad's Army, Napoleon.
We just look at our old grandpa reference of the day, people. No, I don't know. I mean, I suppose it could be, because Napoleon was not meant to be a nice person. But the film looks amazing. Really excited to see this one. Joaquin Phoenix, potentially another Oscar nomination for him with this one. And Ridley Scott, it looks like he's getting back to form. I mean, not that he really slipped away. Last year was great, in my opinion. I even enjoyed parts of House of Gucci, but Napoleon looks great. And Dune Part 2. Now, we saw the trailer for this in the cinema when we were watching Oppenheimer. And Lewis turns to me and goes, "Is that great? Is that good?" And I go, "I think it will be." And he went, No. Is that going to be good then? I think it will be, but it's a sequel. And a sequel to what? And I went, Dune. The film's called Dune Part 2, so it's a sequel to Dune. And you went, "Never heard of it." Never heard of it. Dune Part 2 is probably my most anticipated film of this year.
And I've still never heard of it.
Dead excited to see it.
Until now.
The trailer's great. According to Denis Villeneuve, who's the director, it's going to be more payoff than anything. That is one to put on your watch list. Now, for December, Ooh, this is the one Lewis built up
the big
earlier.
Some good films.
Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom.
First good one.
This, according to the Hollywood Report, which is a very reliable source, has gone through numerous reshoots and apparently is in a bit of production hell and may get delayed to 2024. In fact, by the time this podcast has come out, it may have already been delayed to 2024 because of the actors' strike. But, nevertheless, if it hasn't been, this is a film which could be fun. It could be good. I enjoyed the first Aquaman. Wasn't great.
I don't actually really remember it. I think I was in a weird mood at the time. This is in that era when I had weird moods in college.
Yeah, like they all know about it.
Well, you do.
But yeah, basically Lewis got a lot of mood swings back in the day. And The Colour Purple musical, so I think there's going to be a musical adaptation of Steven Spielberg's movie, as far as I'm aware. Steven Spielberg is attached as an executive producer, and so is Oprah Winfrey, who was in the original. I haven't seen the original, it's one of the only Spielberg films I haven't seen, but I will definitely watch it before I watch this version of The Colour Purple, and the trailer looked great. Migration, which is this animated film about ducks who are migrating.
Well, I actually really like ducks, so I'm sure.
Well, I got Lewis's money here. So I didn't expect you, of all the films I've spoken about so far, Migration, which is this film about...
You know how much I like ducks, you know.
I didn't really know you liked ducks.
Well, I do. Well, it's because ever since I moved
Oh yeah, he feeds them in his garden. A family of ducks tries to convince its overprotective father to go on a vacation.
I'm watching that. I'm going to see that.
No, but look, Danny DeVito does the voice from the ducks.
I am watching that. He's the only one that I know though. But,
apparently it comes out in February in the UK though.
Right. Oh wow.
So much for a 2023 movie.
Wow.
We're going to be excited for it for 2024. Anyway, Rebel Moon, which apparently is Zack Snyder doing Star Wars. Zack Snyder, who previously, if you don't know, directed the likes of Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and also his version of Justice League, the Zack Snyder version of Justice League. He is having a go with Star Wars. Apparently, he pitched a Star Wars project to Kathleen Kennedy, who's the head of Lucasfilm right now, and he was refused that pitch. She didn't really like it. Refused? And now he's making his own version of Star Wars. It seems like Rebel Moon, which is coming out on Netflix, and, pardon me, according to Google, it's coming out this Christmas.
Pardon me, Slav.
Wonka, which is probably my second most anticipated film for the rest of this year.
It's anticipated for me.
Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa, Timothée Chalamet as Wonka, Rowan Atkinson's in the film. I think he's meant to be playing Wonka's father, but I think in the film he's not really meant to respect him. Olivia Colman's in there, Sally Hawkins from the director of Paddington 1 and 2, which are amazing films. I don't care what anyone says.
I know Sally Hawkins from...
Phantom of the Open.
No. Oh no, it's a different Sally Hawkins. Well, does she play the mum in Phantom of the Open? Well, I don't think I'm thinking of her, but there's a Sally Hawkins and a couple of Carry-Ons. It's not her though.
Brilliant. I love these things that...
It's not her.
No, I don't think it's her.
It's a different Sally Hawkins.
No, it's the mum. It's the one who played the mother in Phantom of the Open.
Well, it's a different Sally Hawkins, just saying.
The trailer for this looked great. I am slightly worried it's going to be delayed, but if it's not, very excited to see it. And probably your most anticipated film for the whole of this year. The thing Lewis has been waiting for. Chicken Run 2, aka Chicken Run Dawn of the Nuggets. 23 years in the making.
It's taken such a long time.
Yeah, it seems bloody like... And there's Wallace and Gromit coming out next year. There's another Wallace and Gromit film, so all up for Iron Man.
I'm watching that.
Apparently it's going to be a Netflix... And this Chicken Run 2 is going to be a Netflix film as well. I don't know if
also, they're not coming out in the...
I don't know.
Well, I'll just watch them on Netflix.
Some Netflix films do. Some Netflix films don't. The likelihood is it will only be released on Netflix unless they change the theatrical model. But there hasn't really been... We haven't really seen much of this film. There was a small, 30-second teaser released a couple of weeks back. It looked fun. And the two, Ginger and Rocky, can't really remember the names. I'm really happy.
Is it the same voice actress for Ginger?
No.
For Ginger?
It's somebody new.
So it's all new?
Yeah, got Tandy Newton doing the voice of Ginger in this one.
And Mel Gibson's not in it?
No, not Mel Gibson because he's being a bit controversial. So it's Zachary Levi who plays Shazam. He's doing the voice of Rocky.
Still a hard man at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, and you got Bella Ramsey, who seems to be everywhere right now with The Last of Us and Game of Thrones and whatnot. They are doing the voice of the child of Rocky and Ginger, and it seems like they've got a kid in this film, and they apparently, according to the synopsis which was released, they have to go back into the farm. Don't know why, but we're gonna find out. And it's Aardman, and they've done the likes of Wallace and Gromit, Pirates on an Adventure with Scientists,
Disappointed.
Early Man, Creature Comforts. What's the other thing they've done which I really liked from them? Oh, what is it? Well, Chicken One. Shaun the Sheep.
Aardman didn't do Flushed Away, did they?
No, although they were involved, but it's not. It's
similar, but
yeah,
it's not the same.
there was a bit weird thing
It's
going
not
on
the same.
there. No, it's not the.
It's animated.
Plasticine animation.
It's not, no.
But yeah, Chicken 1 2, guys, what's there not to be excited about?
Exactly. Well, people should be excited.
I genuinely think this might end up being one of the best films of the year because it's Aardman, and I don't think Aardman really.
It's gonna be like the next Super Mario Brothers, but
it could even be better. It's Aardman. Bear in mind, these are the people who did Wallace and Gromit, and in my opinion, Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit is a perfect movie. So
I actually really like Early Man as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Early Man.
I didn't see it in the cinema sadly, but I've watched it on DVD.
I'm really hoping this releases in the cinema. Because I'd love to see an Aardman film in the cinema. I don't think I ever have.
Well, if it isn't, we'll have to go in as Hitmen and...
We'll do a viewing party. We might even record the viewing party for this channel. But those are the films to look out for the rest of the year. I think also coming out in December, by the way, which I didn't say isn't on my list, is Ghostbusters Afterlife 2. The sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife. I think it was pretty successful.
For them to do
I don't know if the older cast are coming back. I think it's mainly going to focus on the newer cast that we met in Afterlife. And I wouldn't be surprised if the film gets pushed, because I think they only started filming it like in March. So I don't know whether that film actually come out, but I'm excited to see it because I enjoyed Ghostbusters Afterlife a lot and I want to see where the story goes. But those are the films to look out for the rest of the year, and I hope I brought to your people's attention who are watching this or listening to this films you perhaps didn't know about beforehand. But we're over the 1 hour mark, so we're going to round this podcast off.
Very productive.
Thank you as always for watching or listening, and let me know your top 3 films of the year so far, and the most disappointing film of the year so far, and the film you're most looking forward to for the rest of the year. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below, and if you haven't yet, please click down below and subscribe on this podcast.
Forget, very important for Specky Boo.
Have you got anything to say to our podcast listeners and viewers?
I hope you all have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your days.
Brilliant. And look forward to many more podcasts coming very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon.
Bye for now.
But bye for now. Bye.